If you don't fuck with the zoo,
Period.
my baby preach, preach and Chevy.
Listen,
Okay, so I want you to introduce yourself, the genre you write in, and anything you want them to know before we get started.
so I'm Tatiana, author Tatiana. Um, I've been writing since 2016. A lot of people don't know that. They actually think I am a new author. Um, yeah, I've been writing since 2016 and I do urban fiction.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So tell me why urban fiction and why did you get into it before I even start diving into your books?
So, first of all, I've been reading for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I've been actually writing for a long time since like high school. So, just even with writing and then reading combined, I think what happened was I read one book. This was like I want to say like early 2000s. I like was reading a book. I was like, I could do this. I think I could. I promise you. I was like, I think I could do this. Literally working a full time job in a call center and literally writing a book at the same time while I'm working. My
Damn.
coworkers would walk by and like, what are you doing? And then when I told them that, I was, gonna drop a book, they didn't believe me. But I literally just read a book and one day I was like, I think I can do this. I've always been creative, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That has always been the thing. So just kind of like applying that
Mm-hmm.
in a book, and that's what happened. That's how I started. Literally, just one day I was just like, I think I could do my own, I could write my own book. And I literally did it.
Now you have come up with these cities and these group guys and girls, and you have come up with you got Parkside Cove.
hmm
Um, shit, I can't name all of them because I don't let me lie to you. But my favorite
I
by
know.
far is Coffee and
Chasing
Chase.
coffee.
Yes, that is when I say I love that fucking book. I love that book.
The crazy
So
part about it is, I feel like Chasing Coffee didn't get the shine that it needed to get.
I don't think so either because
I
it
don't
was
think.
to me that was a 5-star book in my opinion. In my opinion, I don't care about none of y'all. In my opinion, I felt like that was a 5-star book because it just I don't know. It was just written so well, and the characters really had their own personality. It was like the plot was plotting, but it was the characters' personality that was just on point. That made it just
Yeah,
like a really good
I
book.
love that book.
So
That's my.
how do you go about writing these characters because they have a lot of shit going on with them, a lot of shit.
So, um, if I create, first of all, when I create my characters, it's always by the name.
Mm-hmm.
So I always pick my name first, and whatever that name brings to me, whatever type of personality that name brings to me, I build my characters around that. So like with Coffee, I felt like it was more soft, more
Mm-hmm.
vulnerable. You know what I mean? That's why I was able to write her like that.
Mm-hmm.
Chase was already Chase was already a character that I had built from Caught Up in His Game, but I changed him
Mm-hmm.
because if you were Caught Up in His Game, him and Lily were kind of like this in a book. And I felt like he didn't need somebody that was like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when I create my characters, especially when I'm doing an MMC and an FMC and I'm building them together, I like them to be the opposite. I don't like
Mm-hmm.
them to be the same. I like it to be where if a woman is reading my book, any book that I write for that matter, no matter how she is, who she is, what type of situation she's in, she can still feel like she has that man that most people would say, oh, she can't get him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just like with Coffee, she had the birthmark, she had the condition. You know what I mean? And most women, yeah, she was sensitive and stuff like that, but most people like, oh, she can't get no man like that. Why can't she?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So when I curate my characters, when I come up with ideas, I like to add a little realistic things in there.
Mm-hmm.
You read my book. I like to have real issues in there because at the end of the day, even though it is urban fiction, I still want people to be able to relate to some of the situations. Just like Preach, being in the church and being in the streets. And there's
Ooh,
so
girl.
many people out there like that. And I'm not gonna lie, writing that book, I was low key scared to kind of write that because I am dabbling in religion.
Mm-hmm.
I was dabbling in religion, and I felt like me dabbling in religion and then street stuff. You got those people that's like, no, that ain't right. But it's true. There's a lot of people like that. There
I
are a
feel
lot of
like
people like that.
I feel like urban fiction is based off of realism, regardless of how you look at it, because a lot of people is like, "Oh, it's my escapism," but it's realistic. Those you may not have went through that, but that's some shit that really goes down in the hood. That's some shit that
Listen,
really goes down with couples who are with hood niggas, females that with hood niggas. That's some real shit they go through. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
for sure.
It's not that cookie cutter shit that nothing, no shade to contemporary romance, no shade at all, but I'm saying when it comes to urban fiction, it's very based, is realistic, because people can
Hmm.
sympathize, can be like, yeah, I went through that shit with a nigga, or I went
Yeah.
through that shit with this chick. You know what I'm saying? That's
Hmm.
some real shit. So caught up in this game, that's when people, I heard about you from Caught Up in This Game. um,
Hmm.
so what made you write that as like it's like three books, right? Or two, three.
It's too good.
What
Too
made
good.
you write Caught Up in This Game as two books?
So I have a lot of characters. So
Mm-hmm.
the way I write, there is like a method to my madness. Even with the current books, I have a lot of characters in my books. I always have a lot of characters, and I find it what's what I'm looking for. I like to make things complicated for myself. I know it sounds weird, but when I wrote that book,
Mm-hmm.
because I had so many characters and I wanted to expose each of the characters, I had to split it up. There was no way I could. I mean, I could have did it in one book, but it would have just been like, oh, all these POVs, and then as I'm introducing new characters, now this person popping up in the middle of the book. So when I split my books up like that, it's because either I'm introducing a new character in the book and
Mm-hmm.
I want them to have their own POV, so then I'll go into that new book, or I still haven't got out what I'm trying to get out for each of the characters. Like I'm really trying to build them. I really
Mm-hmm.
like character building, so that's my
So then you have now correct me if I go into the wrong order, but you have Parkside Cove.
thing. Hmm.
Okay, what is it about Cove that was what makes you write? Because that what.
Parkside Cove. I kind of wanted to. So originally, I do have some books that are on Amazon that you might see if you scroll down, but you're like, well, these are not available. So
Mm-hmm.
I initially have a book on brothers. Like family is a lot to me. So I have a book on two brothers. It's like the Cain and Abel type of story. It'll be back up. I'm gonna put it up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I wanted to do something that was family oriented,
Mm-hmm.
but complicated, like things that people don't talk about. So with Parkside Cove, you have a set of sisters and then you have a set of brothers,
Mm-hmm.
but what's diminishing those two families is their parents.
Mm-hmm.
The mamas was just like going at it. So when I started it, I didn't even have all of those characters. But as I started writing, more characters popped up. Like Tavarius, he's in there. He has like mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And he really actually doesn't have mental health issues, but the way his mom's plays on his mental, it messed him up. It fucked him up in the head. You know what I mean? He didn't know how to handle it. He didn't know how to shake back from it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So again, I just try to when I create my characters, I try to put some realism behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And if another character pop in my head and they're speaking a little bit louder, I'm adding you in. That's how I just like start adding them in. And don't get me wrong, I'll start moving pieces around, taking them out, but I
Mm-hmm.
feel like the more characters in the story, it just really just adds on to it. It gives it more drama. And if you read my books, or as you have, I gotta
Mm-hmm.
have the drama in my books. I'm gonna always
So
have it.
with you writing black characters and the setup, a lot of people have these notions of how black people will act in books or supposed to act in books. And when you're talking about mental health, which is a big thing in the black community, how do you go about writing that and coming off as more of this is, you know, generational trauma is a thing. Parental trauma is a thing, you
It
know,
is.
whether it's physical or mental or emotional or spiritual is a thing. How do you set yourself up to write that?
Um, Research.
Mm,
So when I was writing about Vari in Parkside Cove, I
mm-hmm,
was researching. I didn't want to, and if it's something that I really don't know about, I don't bring it up. Like I don't say, "Oh, this person has schizophrenia," you know what I mean, or this
mm-hmm.
person has this. Like I'll put the um, what is it called? I'll put the traits or whatever that is, but I won't really too much speak on it. But I did want to bring up mental health. I wanted to show how sometimes when people feel certain ways, they're
Mm-hmm.
scared. They don't want to tell people because they don't want to be judged. Vari, for example, he knew
Mm-hmm.
something was wrong with him, but he had been so criticized by his family that he didn't want, even his sisters, even though they didn't feel like they were doing it to him that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was scared to kind of like show that side. But when I get into a zone where I'm starting to talk about like mental health, health conditions, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Even in Zoo Boys with Chevy, have his guard up, you know what I mean? These
Yeah.
are things that either somebody around me has experienced that I've
Mm-hmm.
seen them go through that I just want to display and show like it's okay to show that side or it's okay like and that's a mental health thing. I feel like as a black community, I feel like
We are bad at it.
we are
We
so
are
bad
so
at it. We
bad
are
at it.
so bad at it, man.
We are so bad at it. Okay, so let's talk about your female characters in your books.
Okay.
Your female characters are either, tough as nails or they're in between, like soft, but
Coffee
they
was
have.
soft. People thought coffee was real soft. They like,
I did not. I did
she
not.
she she just she okay, we know she has a scar on her face, but okay, but
I
it's
did
you
not.
can't tell nobody how to feel. Like that's how she felt. Yeah, she was pretty, but this is something that she's been dealing with since she was young. But my female characters, first thing I like is that most of my female characters, mainly all my female characters, they all
Mm-hmm.
have good jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Sky, she was a realtor.
Mm-hmm.
Lily, she had a good job. Coffee was going to school to be a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, hold on. My dog. Coffee was going to school to be a doctor, and even in Zoo Boys, my girls, they all of them do something. But I feel like my female characters are hard for me to write. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
might not think that, but I think they are.
Why?
Because I just like I don't want to make them weak. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But I do want to be realistic.
Yeah.
We have feelings, we have emotions, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes we act out on emotions. Men
Yeah.
do too, but sometimes we show out. You know what I mean? But I
Mm-hmm.
feel like when I'm writing my female characters, it's hard for me because I don't want them to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
I really try to make them different, but maybe other authors feel like their women are easier.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I feel like my men are the easiest to write. And it's
Wow.
and it I really do. I really feel like my male characters are the easiest for me to
Do you think with the women it's more harder because we as women have guards up
write.
from
Absolutely.
the smallest to the biggest things, we have guards up, or just in fact that we're black women, we have our guard up because you never know, you got to keep your head on a swivel.
Listen.
So um do you think that's part of the reason maybe it's hard for you to write the female characters?
Yeah, and it's even with just personal,
Mm-hmm.
even with me, like personally, like my mouth, my attitude, you know what I mean? Sometimes I get in my feelings, like just
Mm-hmm.
I shut down, you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I do. I try, and it might seem like when y'all read my book, like, dang, she did it, you know what I mean? But on the back end of that, I'll be ready to pull these little rocks straight up, pull these little rocks, pick, 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 pull them out. But uh, or maybe just what I've experienced over time with with women. I can say that from my mother
Yeah.
to my aunt. You know
I
what I
can see
mean? So just kind of basically what I kind of grew up around,
that.
just seeing
Mm-hmm.
the women
Yeah, I can
around
see that.
me. Um, and I don't want to say that they were weak because my mom she wasn't weak,
Mm-hmm.
but her heart was so big that sometimes she just kind of let certain stuff slide, and I'm like, well, girl, like you know what I mean? Like why are we letting? XYZ over here and why are you doing that? But then I had an aunt who just kind of like, unfortunately, you allow men to take advantage of you. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like just play on your mental, and it's just the women that I grew up around, and maybe I, as I got older, probably should have placed myself around different type of women. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Just to get a better idea, but it just could be the women that I grew up around
Mhm.
that makes me feel like no, I don't want to write about that. Like I don't want
Yeah.
my female characters to be like that. So who am I supposed to write about? You know what I'm saying? If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. And then you also, I want to stress, like, your female characters actually are, this is why I say your female characters are strong, and yet they are in between the soft side and the strong side, is because they always make their males see their sensitive side, whether they want to see it or not. So how is it writing males being in touch with their sensitive side, but at the same time fighting against it so much, because it's like it's almost like they're losing their masculinity if they are too soft.
Cause listen, and I don't even know if I can say, "Mm," but
Yes, you can.
listen. To me, I feel like, and this is my biggest thing when I write my books. Yeah, they do the back and forth, but I want to show because it's always true story. Back in the day when I was in the streets, because I was in the streets, you know what I mean? I would go to a strip club, a male strip club, and I've been to female strip clubs. And when I go to the female strip clubs, it's like we just giving all this money to these niggas, you know what I'm saying? And then I go to a female strip club and I see the men, they're not pouring into the women like we pour into the men. So in
Yeah.
my books, I try to reverse that. I want my men to pour into my women. Like I want it to
Mm.
where, yeah, you do the back and forth, but I want her to be able to break you down. I
Mm-hmm.
want her to have you crashing out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And especially because I write about black women and black men, like who protects us? You know what I'm saying? Like I want my men to just be there, like 100%. In Parkside Cove, Bishop, my character Bishop, which I named my dog after him, by the way. Um, Bishop, that's how he is. He goes to
Mhm.
war, like you know what I mean. He goes to war for Indigo, like, and they merely had a brief conversation, but once he was into her, that was it. Once he had a taste, that was it. Like even Chase did not play about coffee at all.
He
He didn't.
did not.
He did not. He didn't allow his friends to disrespect her. None of that at all. He did not play. So when I write my main characters, um, to match whoever their love interest is, I want them to pour into her to where there's so much love in her, she don't know what to do. She don't even want to look at the next nigga because why? You know what I mean? The guy that's after her, that's chasing her, that's who it needs to be.
Now, how do you write with these black couples ending up with building something together? Not building something as far as the relationship, like building, like literally building together. Why is
There's
that
trauma.
important?
I think it's important because trauma. So they say that saying hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
That's true, but sometimes one's trauma and someone else's trauma. That if you're a match, let me be specific. If you're a match, it can help. So I don't want to say too much because I know I'm still writing the books that's coming out for this book, kind of like Chevy
Mm-hmm.
and the new character Zaria.
Yeah.
Chevy, we already know he Chevy, we know he has a guard up, you know what I mean? And to make them build them together because they are growing. We already know that they're interested in each other. They're growing. Although Chevy has trauma, so does Zaria, but I guess I want to say it's a different type of trauma. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to use the word trauma. Let me not use that. Let me not use that. Let me not use trauma because they like just them having issues, walls build up. I feel like when I put my couples together, they're breaking down each other's walls,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense, which allows them to build together. They grow together, they get stronger together, they create soul ties. that allows them to build together. That's how I create them, and they move forward in the story. Yeah, they're gonna go over their little humps, but as they're breaking each other's walls down,
Mm-hmm.
they're able to connect stronger that way.
I get
Chevy
that.
is the king.
Now we're going to get into these zoo boys because, baby, when I
Chevy is the
tell you, I don't give a fuck if you wrote that shit in purple.
that was a
That's
big, oh my gosh, that was a
that
big issue.
that, look. I don't give a damn if you had it in graffiti or braille. That shit was good.
Thank you.
Both books were good.
Thank you.
Now, with Chevy, there is something about him, not just being fine, because everybody like the dark skin fine, but
Mm-hmm.
it's the fact that this man says the only way I would give you dick is if you can stimulate my mind first.
Absolutely.
Now, why was that important to write? Because you know, a lot of times in the books they just jumping into the.
Bec- because and that. So I mean, even though the other guys are kind of like that, like you have the ones that'll just jump into that.
Mm-hmm,
I wanted to build Chevy as the guy that just is not about fucking. Like we not about that's not the first thing we about to do. Like what
mm-hmm,
can you provide me? What can we provide each other than
mm-hmm.
that? Like what can you do for me other than that? Like Lola. Lola's pressed. She's pressed. That's what she wants. But what are you providing him to even do that? Like I've been through enough shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been through some shit already. Like I don't need no added stress with you. Okay, I give you that. Then what? Where are we going from here? What are we doing from here? Chevy is absolutely not just giving up that dime. He ain't
And
doing that.
I love that. And I love that. The fact that he said it costs too much to get what's between my legs. You don't
Period.
have enough. And the fact that she took it as money instead of the mental aspect of it was
Mm-hmm.
just blew my mind. It was like it walked right over her head.
Right. Right.
Now you have Zoo. Lord Jesus.
Y'all ain't gonna stop doing my zoo like that. Zoo gonna have to redeem himself
He
because at
gonna
this
have to
point,
do
no,
something. Cause right
nobody
now he is
likes
down
Zoo.
bad as a dumbass and stubborn. He is down bad. Poe Harvey. Down bad. You know
Oh,
what I'm
I
saying?
do. Somebody just said it in the comments. So I do have one reader. I'm not gonna lie. That's her man, her man, her man. She sticks beside him. She do not care. She feel like he gonna redeem himself. So I gotta give it to her because she love her some Zoo. Period.
She got it. She got it. Hey, usually I be trying to hold on to the niggas in the books. But, you got that one. You got that one. And then you have Preach. Preach is on another level of streets and pulpit.
Fun fact: Preach was my wild card. When I threw him in as I promise you, when I put him in as a character, I did not think I didn't. I knew some of the girls was gonna like him, but he got way more love than I anticipated him to get. He got. I didn't think he was gonna get all that love, but
Baby, a man that can tell you scripture and then take a nigga out in the next second, my type of man. My type
yeah.
of man. He a little bit hood and church. Who? What?
What he said? He says, "I'm a little bit of hood. I'm a little bit of holy. A holy hood nigga." That's his
And he is. And he is. And he
Preach is
is.
Preach was my wild card, and he ended up being like in the top three for sure.
So how do you go about? Because this is a real thing. Like being a church kid and being raised in the church and being pressured to be a part of the church constantly and not live your life how you want to live it as long as you're living it in a way that is right by God. So how was that writing that?
So, I grew up in the church.
Mm,
My godmother is now a minister.
mm,
So, just kind of like being around that, and then when I would go with her, it was like we was in church every day. But her kids, my god brother and my god sister, watching them trying to, in their teenage years, trying to enjoy life, being out with their friends and trying to go
mm,
to the mall, but have to kind of, you know, choir rehearsal, and you got to go to Sunday school, and they in church every Sunday, and then my sister got to run, early morning church, and then you're there after church, and you know what I'm saying? And then just seeing my godmother really just play into that and just like,
Mm-hmm.
no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that. And then when I wrote Preach, just because his street life is a little bit more deep, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? I feel like there are a lot of people out there like that, especially men went that was incarcerated and they get out. You know what I mean? It's like I turn to God,
That's your fat.
listen. But just really using some of my upbringing
Mm-hmm.
and applying it with that. And when I tell you, baby, I was in that Bible, right that because I just wanted to tread lightly. But the biggest thing for me was the message at the end. That's why I
Mm-hmm.
did it to where he preaches at the end. Because pride gets in the way of prayer. Because
It
some
does.
people get embarrassed. Oh, well, I don't want to pray. I pray when I'm by myself. You know what I mean? And acceptance, because a lot of people want to be accepted, especially from their family. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like that was Preacher's biggest thing. Like even from the beginning of the book to the end of the book, he wanted to be. I don't even really want to say he wanted to be accepted, but he really wanted his dad to see, look, like I can do this, but this
Yeah.
is not where my heart is right now, fully.
Yeah.
Like I'm in here. Like give me credit for what I am doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was really thing. That I'm not gonna lie, that book, whew, that
Deep.
book was
Yeah, deep.
listen,
Deep.
listen.
And then you had Diamond, his funny ass. This
I
motherfucker.
love Diamond.
I love him too, but he's so unserious sometimes, like majority of the time. But he's so unserious. Now, why do you have him? Uh, and I could tell just by reading that he is serious when it
Oh, he
comes
don't play
to
by his granny.
right. But at the same time, he's unserious for a reason. Why?
So that's and his story is coming up next. I've already dropped that. Already dropped the cover. And I know they in here waiting. They think I'm gonna say a date, but I'm not. But I know they waiting.
Foul
But
as hell.
Diamond, that is the way Diamond copes with his stress.
Mm,
So he copes by joking around and all of that. But in his story, you're gonna see a more serious Diamond. You know what I mean? You're gonna still get the jokes because that's still him.
mm,
But his grandma, his granny, is in a hospital. So now he's dealing with that. And his best friend got clank clank. Now he's dealing with that. So Diamond's way of coping with his stress is by joking all the time, is by being
mm,
funny. But what happens when you meet somebody that is like, look, Nick, you got to stop playing around. Like, is, or are we? You know what I mean? So I don't
mm,
want to give too much because it is still in process. But Diamond is dealing with stress. When he deals with stress,
mm.
that's what he does.
Okay,
That is what he does.
you got foe, my baby foe.
Oh, you like pho?
Hell yeah.
Let me tell you, when I wrote Zoo Boys, I didn't have like no I didn't have like a favorite. I was just like writing them.
Mm-hmm.
But the more I started writing about Foe, the more I started loving Foe. I was like, I love Foe. I ain't gonna lie, Chevy is my number one. Period. That's just
Of
it.
course.
But Foe, I really did like Foe. I like Foe because he is funny, but he's
Mm-hmm.
also very serious.
Oh
Foe
yeah,
is a 100%. I don't give up, mother. I'm
and
I'm
he's a
letting off
protector.
a big protector.
Cause Harvey,
I ain't even gonna look at the comments because I don't got time. Because I don't ask me no questions. Don't ask me no questions. But yeah,
cause
he
it's the
Harvey
fact
was
that Chevy peep game way before, while she was sitting there trying to, I ain't do
Chevy is
nothing.
very observant, and it's not that he's just a know-it-all because Zoo thinks he's a know-it-all. You just think you know everything. You think you're
Right.
just trying to run everything. It's not that. He's just very observant, and he sees what's going on. He knows who's good for his best friend. And let me just put this out here real fast, just for everybody. Harvey and Chevy is not getting together. I wanted to
Who the fuck
display.
got that?
Oh, there's people that's like, I want them to get together so bad. They're not going to get together. I wanted to display a male female relationship as best friends without them having to even cross that line. Because a lot of the times people think that, oh, they've been friends for years, they're going to fall in love. You can be you can have a male friendship or a female friendship and not at all, not even be together.
Let me
So
tell you
that's not going to
something.
happen.
My best friend that I've known since college
Uh
is a
huh.
whole man. And I would yeet myself through the wall before I even have feelings for that nigga like that. We are friends. We are just friends. Platonic
Right.
friends. And
But
that's cool.
you know when people, and I'm not saying everybody because everybody don't think like that. You know what I'm saying? But when people see that, especially when women dive into these books, they got a lot of these friends to lovers, friends to lovers. I wanted to display a friendship, a genuine friendship that started back from when they were young to show that you can still be somebody's friend and you
Yeah.
ain't got to sleep with them. You know what I'm saying? So Harvey and Chevy are strictly friends. They're like brother and sister, and he gonna protect her with everything he got. That is that. Now, Bo and Zoo, I can't say too much about that, but them two, Chevy and Harvey, they are strictly friends.
I like the fact that you put that in there because there is this dynamic in the black community. Once again, I say this again that we just assume that we can't be friends with males. That
Mm-hmm.
that is always an alternative motive between either the male or the female. And if we like lean on each other's shoulder and we just chilling, they must like each other.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I come over to your house and we just chilling, y'all
Right.
must be fucking.
That part.
So I get it, and I appreciate that you put that in there. Now I'm gonna talk about these orange letters because I knew I said I wasn't gonna talk about it, but I want to talk about it. Now you dive into what orange represents
Mm-hmm.
in the second book. If y'all read the beginning of the book,
It's gonna be
um,
in all the books.
but you really dive into what it represents, why the orange was so important. Now the first book was in orange lettering, and I saw the little shit that everybody was saying. I be it
Listen,
went, but how do you feel about that?
I like the orange. I thought the orange was unique. I thought it was different. With me growing as an author,
Mm-hmm.
um, even though I've been out since 2016, I would say this year has been the year that I have really 100% stuck with it. My goal was to do a book a month. So far, I've been able to do that. But I'm also learning to set myself apart from the other authors.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be set apart from the other authors. When you see my name, I want you to be like, that girl right there, oh, that's the girl with the orange. Did she had the orange book or she had the pictures in her book? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when I did the orange, at first I wasn't even gonna do the orange first, but when I did the orange and I looked at it and I put it together, I was like, this shit's so pretty. Like this is unique. You're going to remember my book from it.
Right.
And so I even did the printed copies because I wanted to make sure that it looked good in the books. Oh, that shit
Mm-hmm.
looks crazy, and the book is just chef's kiss. But um, then I start seeing I can't read this, and I'm like, you didn't put it in dark mode. I can't read it. I
You
can't
don't
read it. So I'm
even
like,
want to put it in dark mode, bruh. You know
everybody don't
what?
put their stuff in dark mode. Some people said when they see it, it is in gray. So me just being the person that I am, and then I'm like, okay, there are people out there with vision issues. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, well, let me compromise. Even though I didn't have to. Now the books, the physical copies and the hardcovers, because all of them are in hardcovers, will be in hardcovers. Everything is in orange. Nothing has changed.
Thank you.
Only for the Kindle. Only for the Kindle did I change it going forward.
Yeah, because I
But
was mad. I was
the
mad
comp,
because only parts of it was in orange and
yeah,
the rest of it was in black. I was like, what the fuck is this?
the beginning of each chapter, I made orange, but I substituted the orange with the photos.
Mm.
And when I seen the photos in there, I said, "Oh, this shit is fire." I'm not changing that. Every book's gonna have that. I changed my trigger warnings. I switch up my trigger warnings. Like I want my books to be rememberable. I want
They
you to
they
remember them.
are. They are, because that conversation between the zoo about the trigger warnings was on point. I love that. I love
Yes.
that. Um, I just want to say, like, y'all, I understand we are not a monolith. We all read differently. But the bullshit y'all be complaining about, and this is in general. So anybody in the comments, not me, not me. This is in general. This is a general statement. The stuff that y'all be complaining about, y'all don't complain about with traditionally published authors. I'm gonna just leave that right there. So once again, I want to say the Zoo Boys is fucking chef kiss. What made you write an MC book? Because we needed it. We needed more black MC books. But what made you write it?
Let me tell you this. No, I'm just playing. So I want to say in like June, I had bought the I bought the motorcycle picture. I
Mhm.
bought it as a series because y'all already know I'm a series girly. Do with that what you will. Okay, I love series, but I have bought it. I said if I ever come up with a storyline for it, I'm gonna write it.
Mhm.
Then I had came up with the idea to do Chevy's Promise, which was it was going to be a standalone book about Chevy. I already started that book months ago. It is going to be a Thickiana too, because I got a story to tell with him. So it is going to be a long story. But
Honestly, don't tell
when
me
I
that because he'll be right back on here.
it is it is I had already started it. But what happened was I had again when you asked me that question about the characters because I have so many characters. And in the book, when I started his book, he was a part of a motorcycle club. Just so happened I had already bought those covers. It was covers, and I told the person that gave me the covers, I was like, take everything off. I'll build the cover I'll put what I want to put on there. That's how I created them. So when I went and I got the photos of the guys, I was okay. Let me make him a team. And then when I dropped the photos of the guys, that shit blew up, and I was not expecting that because I'm so used to being overlooked. So I just write. I write because I love to write. You know what I'm saying? I love to tell
Yeah.
stories. And I'm going to put out a book regardless. But because I have been so overlooked, I really wasn't expecting people to gravitate towards. I promise you, I was not expecting all the hype I got around it. So once I got the hype around the boys, I said, well, shit, let me tell a story about the boys. That can alleviate some of the story and I can focus more on Chevy in his book. And when I did that, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna give them their own book. It ain't gotta be long, but I can give them their own book leading up to the big thing, which is everybody we already know. Chevy's going on a trip. You know what I'm saying? And then I can really dive into his emotions, his
Mhm.
love interest, his trip, the bigger issue that's going on with him. You know what I mean? I could do that. That's how that all started. And baby, that thing took off, honey. I love it though. I think this was the best thing God had given me because I love and y'all see me. I'll try to engage with everybody. I'm not these other authors that just see you like your thing. No, I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna have a conversation with you. If you post something for me, I'm gonna show out for you. You show out for me, I'm gonna show out for you. You know what I mean? That's just me. That's just the type of person that I am.
Well, get prepared to be sick of me because I haven't been able to put out reviews, so I just been reading. So I'm about to lay out about 50 reviews in the next couple of weeks, and two of your books is in that bitch. So be prepared to be sick of me. But I appreciate it because someone who is in the bike club, I appreciate seeing that. That's what I want to see, black bike clubs, because
Yes.
it's hard to see real down to earth shit about like a urban fiction bike club. I have seen like 5 or 6 books, and I'm sure it's probably more out there. I'm probably not looking in the right places, I guess.
Right.
But I'm so happy you came out the Zoo Boys. Like, I'm so invested in this motherfucking series. Like,
You know how many people invested in Listen, I get messages on the side. I get Instagram messages. I get Facebook messages. I get everything. I'm like, y'all really ride for these boys. Like they got their own fans.
yes,
They
yes.
literally got their own fans. But I do I want to show y'all something real quick. Give me 1 second. Yeah, can you grab me that box right there?
I love it. I fucking love it. Like, all of it.
So I am going to be doing, let me sit back. I'm going to be doing book boxes.
know you fucking lying.
So yeah, I'm gonna be doing book boxes for the girlies, for the Zoo Boys.
I
Um,
know you fucking. How much?
I don't know if you can see my quote is in there.
How much?
So when I don't have a price yet, but it's coming. So I just wanted to kind of like show y'all that I'm gonna be doing boxes for the boys. And so
I want all
the
that.
box, the boxes that I am doing, um, will if you want a paperback, you can get a paperback, but all my boys are gonna have hardcovers. So it is something that is gonna be costly for me, but when I tell you y'all showed out for me, like Zoo Boys was a bestseller. Like y'all showed out for me.
It should,
And
as it should.
so I want to show out for y'all. So I'm absolutely gonna be doing book boxes. I'm gonna wait until Chevy book is done.
Mm,
Let me just clear this up. He is the last one. So let me get that out the way. He's the
okay.
king. He has to go last.
Yeah.
But after his book is done, then I am going to do book boxes for the Zoo Boys. So that is gonna be a thing.
Okay, but also, when are you going to go do a book signing?
I don't know. I want to do at least one. I do want to do at least
Please let it be Boozy Book Tour. Please let it be Boozy Book Tour. Please,
one.
I'm begging. I am begging because
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about nobody else right now. Please, because I want to be in there so I can give me a goddamn book box from your table.
Yeah, I do want to do one. I told my husband, I said I want to do one of those book signing things. But the ones that I was looking at, they was like, "Oh, you got to be vetted for 2 years." I'm like, "Oh well."
Vetted for 2 years.
Yeah,
Once
like
again, I say please come to the Boozy Book Tour. We have stops in Arlington, Chicago, Las Vegas, and
Arlington, what?
Raleigh.
Virginia?
Yes.
I'm in Virginia. I live in Virginia.
See how oh my God, that must be preach working through you.
Listen, won't he do
Morning, but
it?
I'm dead ass like, and it's not costly, and we
Yeah,
don't we don't vet people for 2 years.
yeah, that was crazy. Yeah,
Yeah. So
but
I would love for you to come.
yeah, for sure. I'll get with you after this.
Okay, cool.
I'll get with you.
Also, where can people buy your books?
Amazon right now.
Damn.
I actually, no, I do have a website. I do have a website. I don't think I put it in the Zoo Boys book, but I do have a website. It's authortatiana.com. But what I want to do is because I'm in the process of ordering a lot of books right now.
Mm,
I don't want to put them jokers up, baby, and y'all get to order them, and then I'm like, I need to make sure I have enough.
mm-hmm.
But I absolutely do have a website. Also on my website, I do have, y'all already know I got a playlist for every book, playlist
Yeah.
for every single book. That is what gets me through my books. But all of that is on there, like the playlist. If you ever want the songs that I have, I always have it in my books. You can follow me on Apple Music.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be having to catch myself because when I'm starting a book and I'm creating that playlist, it's available and I'll be having to take it off. So y'all won't be knowing what I'm coming up with. But I do have a website, but as of right now, Amazon is the place to go for the ebooks and the paperbacks. But
Mm.
give me like, I would say maybe by next month I'll be up and running because like the Zoo Boys kind of took me by surprise. So I'm trying to get those books out as well as build the box and make sure I got this and that and everything. But when it's available, I'm gonna let y'all know for sure.
Do
For
you when
sure.
it's are you even looking at Audible books?
I am. Somebody asked me that. I think I actually had quite a few people ask me that. Like, hey, are you gonna put this on Audible? I'm like, I like Audible. I listen to Audible. I like historical fiction, oddly, and I write urban fiction, but I love historical fiction.
That's crazy.
Yes, I do. I love historical fiction books. I'll be up in this thing reading them. But I do want to do Audible. I do want to make sure that, especially for the Zoo Boys, whoever does this, they have to know they have to eat down.
I need you because I have a narrator that's coming that I'm interviewing on the 27th. It's a Sunday at 3 p.m.
Okay.
His name is Miles Washington.
Uh-huh.
That's Chevy.
Oh, word. And y'all know Chevy mouth slick. He don't got no filter. So whoever
That's
displaying him has to eat down. You
that's
have to.
Chevy. I promise you. You can go to his page right now and you listen to him. Oh, yeah, that's Chevy. You see? Yeah, Randy, like, yes, Miles.
Mhm.
Yes, Miles Washington. That's Chevy. That's Chevy. I ain't even gonna hold you. But I want to thank you for taking the time out to speak with me and
Yes.
just telling me more about the books and your thought process. I do want to talk to you again when Chevy's book come out because if that's a thickiana,
Oh, he's gonna be thick. I'm not I set goals. If y'all can see my background, y'all see all these boards and writing and all this stuff. But for him, because I want to take my time with him, I want to really give you the feels with Chevy.
mm-hmm.
Because right now y'all getting bits and pieces of them, bits
Yeah,
and
yeah,
pieces.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? You getting a little here, a little a sprinkle, a sprinkle. Some people going crazy. They're like, "What's wrong with him? What can you just tell me?" But it wouldn't be a story if I tell you right away. Then it's the end. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I'm trying to lead you into his story. So,
Because there's a
because
lot going on with him.
I have a lot to talk about. Keep in mind, Chevy is traveling. So not only are we going to get his emotions and his feelings, he's going to be falling in love. You know what I'm saying? Also, he's going to different states. What do we do in different states? Nigga, we have fun. What do you mean? So
Oh,
I'm going to talk
hell.
about all the things he gets into traveling and stuff like that. So I don't expect anything less than 400 pages. Who knows where it may go, but 400 is my minimum.
That ain't
That's
bad
the
at
minimum.
all. That ain't bad.
That's the minimum. But knowing me, because how I am, it'll probably be way more than that. But
As long as you ain't talking about 700, we good.
no, it'll be in between like maybe like 4 and 6, just depending. If he
Okay.
what he talking like, what he talking like, we'll
That's okay. I'm gonna read it anyway. So it don't even
see.
fucking matter. It don't fucking matter.
Yeah,
So, with
definitely
that being said, is there something you want them to know before we get off of here? And anything.
Um,
Drop
I mean,
dates.
you said what date?
Drop dates.
So drop dates we don't have.
Damn.
Cause yeah, they waiting for that. Job dates we don't have, but Diamond is coming out. Um, and I know the girls is waiting on. So I know y'all want to hear about him. He know y'all want to hear about
I do.
him. He know y'all want to hear about him. He know because they oh my god, he was another one I didn't think that was gonna get a lot of flack, and he ended up getting a lot of flack. But yeah, that's it. I mean, no dates. I mean, I talk to almost all of my readers. Like they'll tell you, I talk to everybody, so they kind of like already know what's going on. So there's really nothing to say. I mean, y'all can go to Amazon. If you haven't checked out any of my older books, I would recommend checking out my older books because you can. That way, you'll know why I write chaotic the way I do. Because I'm going to give you a movie every time. But other than that, my girls already know we don't fuck with you. We only fuck with the zoo. Period.
Okay. What is your Facebook group? Your social medias? You already told us where we can find your books.
So I don't. I have a Facebook group, but I don't have one. Y'all don't judge me. Judge your mama, okay? Listen. Um, you can find me on Instagram. I actually have two Instagrams. I got Freshy Baby,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have Author Tatiana. I'm trying to build up Author Tatiana because Freshy Baby is my personal one, but
Mm-hmm.
because so many people on there, I post on there. And it's baby with two eyes, not a Y. You can find me at Facebook. You can just look up my name. It just has my married name on the end, short. So it's Tatiana Timmons, hyphenated short. And then of course you can find me on Instagram. I mean not Instagram, TikTok, but y'all already follow me. Y'all already follow me on here. And that's another thing too. That following went up real fast. I was like, what the? It
What
was
did you
crazy.
think
Like
was
the
going to happen?
the
You
Zoo
wrote
Boys really showed out for me, bro.
you wrote something that's going to be a cult classic. So
Yeah, the Zoo Boys really showed out for me. I love them so much.
Okay. Well, well, since I can't get
Hey,
a drop date,
I don't want to give
um,
you a job. It's a surprise.
see, here we go with surprises.
It's a surprise.
Okay.
Y'all thank me later. Trust me.
See, now that's suspicious. That's suspicious right there. See, that's suspicious. But,
It's a
oh,
surprise. What I
but
can tell you is, um, so my goal, 'cause I always put these high ass goals on myself, but my goal is to have all of the guys out by New Year. So what we in October? We're almost in October. So somebody gonna get 2 books in 1 month. I can tell you that. So it's gonna be 2 books in 1 month somewhere. I'm not gonna tell you who. I'm not gonna tell you when, what month, but just expect 2 books in 1 month because I'm trying. My goal is to be have them out, by January. I don't like making my readers wait a long time.
huh?
The most you might wait for me is like a month, and my readers will tell you that. I don't make my readers wait.
Okay. Okay.
My book writing is my therapy. So I mean, I do have a full-time job, but I be over here multitasking. Listen,
Well, the way the Zoo Boys is going, you ain't gonna have a full time job except for writing.
that's
Just
my
saying.
goal. I want to write full time, but I need to make sure that it's going to be something that's going to be consistent for me.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Because I still have a family at the end of the day that got to
yeah.
eat. You know what I mean? So I mean, I love writing. I love curating stories and stuff like that. But I also have to make sure that when I walk away from my job, that this is
Hmm.
going to be something that I know that I don't have to be like, damn, now I got to go over here and get applying. Start applying for jobs. But I can see it. I can see it happening by next year. I can see it happening by next year.
The last thing, if you are a new reader to you, where do you want them to start?
Um, I would actually tell you to start at Caught Up in This Game so you can see my growth in my writing. Because my writing changed from Caught Up in This Game with all the hoopla that was going on in that to Chasing Coffee. That book, oh, I love that book so much. I really do. That's like one of my favorite books. And I love the Zoo Boys, but Chasing Coffee has a special place in my heart. Um, that book was really dedicated to my mama. She the one who had the heart disease. That's where I got that idea from.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? She had the heart transplant and everything. The only difference is Coffee survived. My mama didn't survive.
mm.
So that book means a lot to me. But I would absolutely tell you to start up at Caught Up in This Game and kind of like go through there. And I'm telling you, it's gonna stress you out right now. Let me just put that out there. It's gonna stress you out. But I just want my readers to see the growth in my writing from where I started at
Hmm.
to where I am now.
Okay.
So if you are a new reader, you haven't read any of my books, I would say start there, and then work your way through my catalog, and you will see the difference, the growth in my writing.
So if y'all are not following her, please go follow her. Go to Amazon, even though I.
We have fun over there on my page. I'm gonna always give you time. I'm gonna give you some visuals too.
Go follow her. Make sure y'all get her books. And as she said, start with Caught Up in This Game. Um, Me, I was just trying to get caught up to one of her books that was the beginning of the series. Yep, that's how I did
Yeah. Listen,
it.
listen.
I'm
We have
just
fun
saying.
over there. All good, all good. We have fun over there.
All right,
Yeah.
but
Thank
once
you,
again,
love. Appreciate you.
thank you. I enjoy your books. Like I said, Chasing Coffee is my favorite by far. I love the Zoo Boys. I do.
Mm,
But Chasing Coffee was the one that was just like,
yeah, for sure. That a love story y'all need to read. I'm telling y'all, it's a really good
because opposites do attract.
book.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's the one y'all need to read. But yeah, no, thank you for having me. I appreciate you. I'll get what you want because I'm not far from all. That's
Okay.
up. That's North Virginia. But yeah.
All
I
right.
appreciate you guys. Thank you.